COVID is certainly not behind us, but a project by a group that calls itself Filipinas of Hamont is already creating an archive of life amid this pandemic. Vicky Mochama is TVO's diversity journalist, and she went to find out what motivated the women who have undertaken it. She joins us now from Ontario's capital city. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so before we talk about this specific art project, can you tell us a little bit about the Filipinx community in Hamilton?
Yeah, so they're a small but thriving community. There are about 11,000 Filipinx people in Hamilton, Ontario, which is around 2% of the city's population. But it's also a diffuse area, so there's lots more around the Hamilton, Wentworth, and Niagara region as well.
All right, so tell us about the two women who created Filipinas of Hamont, and Hamont is obviously an abbreviation of Hamilton, Ontario, and why they decided to create it during the pandemic.
So the two women are Jessica Vin Luan and Annabelle Ragsag. And so the two of them were in a local leadership workshop effectively that was running through the beginning of the pandemic. And it got disrupted in so many ways. But because it went online, they actually had the chance to hear from one another. And Jessica heard that Annabelle wanted to do a mapping project, mapping the location of all the Filipinos or Filipinx community in Hamilton. And Jessica felt that there was more that they could do together. And so that's how Filipinas of Hamont came to be, was that these two women working in a community space wanted to come together and build something specific to their community.
All right, let's talk about the call to action. What was it to bring the community together?
So right now, as a first phase of what they're doing, they're running a campaign called Mahalaga Ka, or You Matter in English. They've held other creative workshops online, but the event I went to was on a crisp Sunday morning in Hamilton at the Hamilton Art Gallery, where they invited women and children to come in and express themselves through art and to share their pandemic experiences. And so at this event, they had four children. There were two who left early, but there were four children altogether who contributed some kind of art. And then there was also four women who were writing down their experiences of what it is to be Filipina during the pandemic.
So Vicky, obviously you got to spend some time with them and hear some of their stories. Anything interesting that you heard?
Yeah, I heard lots of interesting stories. One was from a woman who's a young mother who moved to Hamilton, Ontario at the very beginning of the pandemic and was looking for any kind of community, but specifically her Filipino community, and really wanted to write about the loneliness and isolation of being a new mom in a new city and trying to find your community and really looking for anything, anywhere that can help you do that. I also heard from another woman who lives in Grimsby, Ontario, who said that it was really scary for her at the beginning of the pandemic because she was the one who was primarily doing all the external work of the family, going to the grocery store, for example. And because her partner was somebody who was, he works in the funeral systems, he was aware of the death rate and the kind of calamity that the pandemic was spreading. And so they were very early in wearing masks. And this is in rural Grimsby, Ontario. And she said it really scared her. She felt a sense of fear and trepidation about being someone who was wearing a mask at a time when lots of people weren't wearing masks just yet, and it hadn't been mandated that anybody wear masks. But she actually described a confrontation where she thought someone was going to yell at her, but instead they actually came up and said, "Thank you so much for protecting me with your mask." And so the stories were really interesting about how many different types of experiences people had, from loneliness to fear to isolation to the challenges of being racialized in public at a time when everyone was really scared.
You had mentioned the backdrop being the Hamilton Public Library. What's their involvement in this project?
So in 2020, the Hamilton Public Library started an archive project, the COVID-19 Archive, where they will be gathering and storing artworks and letters and any kind of contribution the wider Hamilton community wants to make towards cataloging what happened during the pandemic and how people felt about it. But they've also invited community groups like the Filipinas of Hamont to contribute to it. And what they're offering as the public library is the expertise at archiving and storage. And so the Hamilton Public Library is really eager and on board with the ideas of Filipinas of Hamont to gather the experiences of the Filipinx community during the pandemic.
And let's talk about sort of the ultimate result for this project for the community. What does that look like?
Well, their hope right now is simply to document the community's experience for posterity. And the hope is that maybe one day a researcher or a historian will turn to the archive and use it to take a closer look at the community's pandemic experiences. We know in Ontario that the Filipino community, tends to work in low income jobs. Some of them are precarious, whether they're international students or international migrants. So there's a lot to gather here about a specific community's experiences that maybe we don't yet know, but the Filipinos of Hammond are the ones who are doing the work of gathering that experience.
Now, your story was translated into Tagalog for our TVO Today site. Why is that important as well?
As a journalist, I really am grateful for when communities share their stories with me. And so I think it's important to give communities their own stories back in the languages that they speak. Tagalog is a widely spoken language for the Filipinx community. And I felt that it was important that we share with them not only, a story that touched on their community, but in the language that they could understand and access.
Vicky, really great stuff, really great story. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.